Hey, you guys, it's Mirsky back with another YouTube video. If you guys like this, please make sure that you give it a thumbs up, smack the bell so you can get notified when I post a video. Subscribe so you can check out all my other content that I do have for you guys. And make sure that you look in the description box below for any other information, such as how to book a one-on-one coaching session with me, or any other thing that you would like to, be in my group chat that I have, my Facebook group chat, Divine Manifestors, any other thing. It will be down in the description box below. So you guys, in this video, I basically wanted to come on here and talk about shadow work and how shadow work has changed my life and how necessary it is to practice shadow work and, get in tune with your shadow side. So shadow work helped me in so many ways. What shadow work is, because I'll basically be explaining what it is. Shadow work is you confronting the aspects and parts of yourself that you were not comfortable with before. It is acknowledging and embracing those things that you've suppressed or, dimmed down. It can also be these emotional triggers or attachments that you have to things that don't serve you or that just, make you feel dark. So an example of, you working on your shadow side. So something triggers you, but you notice where it stems from, so maybe it's your fear of abandonment. Maybe you were abandoned when you were younger, or you felt like you couldn't trust them because of you growing up and not having trustworthy people. Well, you have to see within yourself, why are you believing in these things? What happened that now you have to confront, or as to why this continuously is happening to you, or what it is that you need to look within yourself to, you know, I'm not even going to necessarily say fix it, but to embrace this part of yourself. So how shadow work changed my life is basically it helped me just become more vulnerable, more open, and more in tune with myself. It is necessary that you balance out both your dark and your light energy to become a full being of your truth and living in authenticity. Watch this entire video because it is going to be very much life-changing. I can guarantee you that. We are not just one aspect. If you realize you are so many different facets of yourself, there is not just one thing about you that makes you you. You are made up of so many different things and so many different, all of these different things that make you. They all make who you are. Nobody is just a singular expression of anything. We have so many multiple dimensions, so many multiple aspects, so many multiple realities that live within inside of us. But it's just about us really fully getting in tune and comfortable with your true self to know that this makes you who you are. So, when you're doing shadow work, you become more comfortable with your aggressive side, or maybe, not letting people walk over you, setting boundaries. You get more comfortable and in tune with you just embracing your dark aspect, because we are both light and dark. We do not live in just a whole light universe. This is not just light. It is both, as above, so below. We need both of those things, duality. That makes us, just like how I have that sun and the moon back there. You see how they're coexisting together? Literally, the moon is within the sun. And as the star, they all exist together. We all coexist with all of these things together. And, it's so funny because I'm just not noticing that as I'm looking at it. So it's like, yeah, you got to realize that you are all of these aspects of yourself. So this changed my life to really fully learn to embrace me comfortably, and confront these things that I was dimming before, such as, me feeling like I couldn't trust people, and I use that as an example because that's something that I grew up on, feeling like I couldn't trust people, or the fear of abandonment, or the fear of, and see, the reason why I can speak about certain things about myself and that I went through is because I've done shadow work. When you do shadow work, you're not lying to yourself. You no longer want to be in denial about things. You fully show you. You fully open up to who you are. And you acknowledge these things. You know, it's so important for you to acknowledge what it is that you've done that is, because when you are doing shadow work, that actually really helps with your manifestation abilities. You notice how what you're attracting is how you feel about yourself inside, or how you subconsciously see things. See, your shadow side is based on your subconscious beliefs. So what subconsciously are you holding within yourself that is making you feel limited? You know, why are you limiting yourself? When you step fully into your shadow aspect and you start to embrace that, you no longer limit your expression here. You no longer become what everyone else sees you as. You become who you see you are. You know who you are. And it's time that you start embracing these things. Why does it feel like when you're not being productive, you're doing something wrong? That's a part of your shadow side. Have you ever noticed that when you're not doing something productive, you're like, oh my God, I'm not busy in myself. I'm not doing something, so I must be doing something wrong. You're not doing anything wrong at all. Stop shaming yourself. That's the thing. You're shaming yourself. Stop putting the blame always on yourself. Stop shaming who you are. It's not about that. It's not about that. You don't need to keep shaming and continuously doing that. See, I had to overcome one of those things too, believing that I always had to be doing something, or I had to push out content all the time, or I had to just be all up in people's. No, bitch. Listen, you can come to me regardless if I do some shit. You feel me? It's always gonna happen for me. You know, when you work on this is how working on my shadow side has changed me. It has literally made me become comfortable with just understanding how I create my reality in my own unique way. In my own unique way. You know what I mean? And really understand why I have certain beliefs towards something, or why something triggers me, or why I feel a way about something. You know, if someone, let's just say someone isn't texting you back, you start getting irritated. Well, why are you getting irritated that they didn't text you back? You know what I mean? Like, or I'm just using these as an example, you know, this is real life fucking examples here. These are real life examples that, you know, people have a trigger to. And it's just about recognizing, you know, why do you have these things? Why are they there? What in your past led to this present moment of those? Because everything is a past manifestation. I want you to know that everything is a past manifestation. So what led you up to this moment, and what you are attracting in this moment is literally from your past manifestations and your future self. You know, are you tapped into the timeline of possibilities, of infinicy, or are you tapped into that the limitations, the triggers, the faults, the blames, the guilts, all of these things? What are you tapped into? What are you aligned to? Are you aligned to embracing being of duality, being of higher consciousness, you know, being of service to not only others, but to yourself? You know, that is so important, because maybe one of your shadow side things could be that you give and give and give and give and don't give to yourself. You don't look back at, how can I give to me? You know, why do you want to give so much? Does it feel like you need to be seen, or you're not being noticed, or you just want people to accept you because you're giving so much and you don't give back to you? You just want somebody to validate you. You know, that's a shadow side. That's literally you over giving. That's literally a part of your shadow side. That's literally, you know, showing how you choose to be seen. When you don't give back to yourself. When you don't give back to yourself in the best way for you. Shadow work has changed my life completely, because I no longer attach myself to things that do not serve me. I no longer, and I can say this wholeheartedly, you know, and I can say this with my full being, I no longer source myself around or engage in things that do not serve my highest and greatest good. You know what I mean? I am my highest self. I am all aspects of myself effortlessly, you know? And I clear out all of those energies that do not serve me. You clear out these things. You notice your triggers. You become more aware of self. You align to your highest divine body. You know what I mean? Shadow work has completely changed my entire life. It has completely changed my entire life. I fully accept me to whatever extent, you know what I mean? Whatever extent I need to fully embrace myself as. Shadow work is truly confronting and confessing these things to yourself and being real. You are being real with yourself. And it is time that you start being real. It is necessary that you become real and you acknowledge these things and you notice, what is it within myself that is attracting this? Or what is it in myself that I need to cut cords to? Or why do I feel like I'm limiting myself so much? Or why am I overgiving? Or why? Ask yourself these questions. That's the thing about doing shadow work. You're asking yourself the necessary questions that you need to see within yourself that can help you become more of yourself, of your highest self, of not being afraid. You know, we are afraid to look within ourselves, to find and see what it is that previously happened that scarred you. Maybe you went through some sort of trauma that you have yet to heal from. And it is important that you heal from these traumatic situations. So you no longer have these karmic cords to these. You no longer attach yourself to these beliefs. You no longer accept what does not serve you. You no longer want for what does not assist you. You are no longer accepting these things. But the internal work is necessary and not being afraid to do it. You cannot be afraid to do the necessary internal work to do your shadow work. Shadow work is confronting these fears. It is confronting these traumas. It is facing these things that once set you back so you can flourish like the highest being that you are. So you can flourish, you must accept and embrace you. You must acknowledge and set the power back into you. If you are not putting the power back into you, who are you putting the power into? What are you putting the power into? Are you giving your power away? Are you giving yourself away? Stop giving yourself away. We no longer just give ourselves away. You know what I mean? It is about fully embracing you and knowing that you are that eternal power. You must unlock your heart. You must unlock your heart. Shadow work is so much more. It is always deeper. It is always deeper, and it will always be deeper because it's always something that you must look at within yourself. You're a never-ending healing being, especially because you are living in the human experience. That is the whole reason why we're doing this shit too. You know what I mean? Especially because you are a human living. You are a spiritual being living in the human experience. You must do shadow work. You're always going to be confronting things about yourself. You're always going to be looking within yourself. You're always going to have to do the internal work. This is never-ending healing. It's always going to happen. If you think that you're done healing, it's just another thing that you got to work on. And it's just something else and something more. Because for me, every day is something that I must, like, you know what I mean? When you wake up and you realize these things, you can't run away from yourself. You're always yourself. And that's the thing when it comes to doing shadow work. You realize that you are always yourself. You cannot be anyone else but you. And when you start to fully acknowledge and embrace that, then this shit becomes so much easier. Every day shadow work becomes something easier for you. Every day confronting something and facing your fears and your traumas becomes so much more easier for you. It literally becomes effortless. Boom, you knocking it out. You're knocking it out. I'm like, oh, self-awareness, me. That's me. You know what I mean? You stand firmly within that. You stand firmly within your truth. You honor you. And it's time that you start honoring you and start being more of you and not giving you away to somebody else. Because you're the only you that you can ever be. No one else can be you. You know what I mean? And I know I came on here to talk about how shadow work changed my life, but it can honestly change your life. The way that I'm speaking about it, you can obviously tell how shadow work has changed my life. You know what I mean? Shadow work has changed my life in so many ways where I've just confronted, you know, anything that has happened in my previous life and in this lifetime. You know, all my traumatic situations that I wasn't comfortable with sharing, which I do quite share, you know, a lot of times, especially on live when I go on Instagram. I'm always sharing some shit that I found out about myself. I'm always sharing some shit. Like, you know, it's a lot of things that I feel like now I've come to fully accept. You know, I talked about, you know, earlier how I literally felt like I was never really fully my age. You know, growing up, I didn't never fully get to be the age that I am. And I'm like, okay, where's this coming from? You know what I mean? Like, why? But I know why. Like, it's just the way that I grew up. I always had to be much older and I had to take on way more responsibilities. And I felt like an old ass man. And I'm like, damn, I'm not even an old man yet. I'm only 19. Like, you know what I mean? And it like kind of blows me sometimes. But I've come to like, you know, how can I slow down time and be young forever? That's literally a shadow motherfucking side. That's literally something that I had to work on within my shadow self. And do you think that that was easy? Yes, it was. But at the same time, it's very challenging when you have to look back and you have to just allow the past to be the past. And you have to move forward now. That's the thing. You can't allow the past to live within inside of you now. Because the past is the past. You can't go back there anymore. You can only be in the present moment. You can only ever be here and now. And when you're here and now, you just break all of those chains. You break free from that. You break these spells that you've casted over yourself. You break all of the curses and you just busting through shit. You know what I mean? You just busting through. And that's what I'm doing. I'm busting through it and I'm becoming more of who I truly see myself as. And all of these things that once limited me before and that I had so many chains and shackles to, I no longer have them. I no longer have them and I don't want you to have them. Because I want you to be as free and as comfortable with yourself as possible. We are here to be free. You are supposed to be free. Allow that word to sit within your being. Freedom. What does freedom look like to you? How does that look? How does that taste? How does that smell? What does freedom look like? What does being free? What is honoring your truth look like to you? What do these things look like? Because once you come to an awareness of what these things look like, you become that. You become free. You become golden. You become light. You become power. You become positivity. You become upliftment. You become all of these great good things that are of you. You know what I mean? You become the destiny. You become these things. Always honor yourself. Because you are the light within your own life. Shine that light upon yourself. On all of these fears. On all of these things. So you can no longer live within fear. And now you can live within nourishment of your highest spirit. And I truly want that for you. So you guys, if you did like this video, please make sure that, like I always say in the beginning of the video, you give it a thumbs up. You give it a smack on the motherfucking bell so you can get notified when I post a video. Subscribe so you can check out all of my other content as well. As well as if you would like to check down the description box below for any other information, such as how to book a one-on-one with me, Coach Session Tarot, join my Divine Manifestors group chat, any other thing that you would like to check out. It is all, especially if you would like to leave a donation, you guys. I am so willing and accepting to donations. If you want to just Cashapp, PayPal, whatever, however much you feel in your heart, generosity is everything. The blessings always come back to you 10 times tenfold. I am so here to accepting and embracing and holding it in, bitch. You feel me? So if you want to do it, do it. And if you want to do it, do it. And if you want to do it, do it. Hey, and if you want to do it. And you can do it. Because if you want to do it, you can do it. Period. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I love y'all so very much. Peace.